What's going on, guys? Welcome to the show. Hey, listen, I don't know how the heck I've been cranking out so many pods, but everybody's been reaching out saying, yo, the pods is where it's at. You touch on different topics. We love the guests you bring on. And honestly, I've been super excited to showcase a side of the community I feel like more people need to know about. And just, I've always said the fragrance community is like a diamond with different facets. And I want to show people the different cuts of the diamond. So I've got another special guest with me today. We got a heck of a show lined up for y'all. Strap up. We're going for that ride. All right, welcome to the Scent Bubble. I am your host for the afternoon. You guys are getting a rare glimpse of SB during the day. Y'all know I normally shoot this on a graveyard shift. I got a special guest for you guys, and before I bring him on screen here, I just want to say this is probably one of the most peculiar individuals in FragCom that I have seen so far, because each time you get a little crumb of his personality, or you see a fragrance that he shows, or you hear him articulate about fragrances, more and more you realize, oh my gosh, this dude is like an almanac, but he be giving it in small doses. Each time you take, you're like, wait, who is this man? Where is he from? How many bottles does he have? Well, hey, we're going to reveal and give you guys the lowdown on this individual today. So without further ado, let's switch screens and introduce y'all to today's guest. Hey, for those who are under a rock, please introduce yourself to the people.
What's up, everybody? My name is Rob. Full name Robert, but everyone calls me Rob. Rob Faith and Fragrance. I've been doing fragrance content for a little, like about 2 years now, and I'm just somebody that really loves fragrance. I've been collecting for a while, maybe about 6 or 7 years, and fragrance is just my thing. I love to study it. I love to understand it. I love to smell it. I love to do all the things and hopefully share that passion that I've discovered with others so that they can also smell as good as me.
And Robbie not only smelling good from what I gather, but Robbie smelling expensive. But I'll say this, Rob, before I tell people kind of what we're in for today. One thing I can say about what I've gathered learning about you in the last month or two is many people speak very highly of you. I'm not sure you've had to have picked up on this, but like anyone that I've seen that knows you, really thinks the world of you. In terms of just how friendly and loving you are to them. That's what I gathered from the outside looking in. And so it's good to know it, or put it this way, it's good to have somebody in the fragrance community that is deeply passionate about fragrance, but that energy is matched by a very sincere and genuine person. Because I find in the fragrance space, even if you're not trying to, it's easy to kind of like find your convenient little nook and cranny in the space,
Yeah.
downplay everything else, and go hang out with the cool cats. You seem to be somebody that everybody recognizes as, friendly, kind, super resourceful, passionate. You represent all the good that I've seen in the community. And that's just what I've seen other people say about you. Now, from what I've seen of the content and the way that you speak about fragrances, I believe what they say. So I think people are in for a good treat. The way I've designed this pod is very special because I'm trying something with Rob that I have not done in the pod at all. I, throughout the week, have been thinking of various games we can play that will put us in a headspace to see, like, so that we can spontaneously tap into subjects of conversation maybe even Rob has no clue we're going to go into. And this is more like two friends talking fragrance, but because I'm doing it in a format like we're strangers and this is Rob's first time on the channel, I think neither of us or the audience is about to know what's going to go down in the next 30 minutes to an hour. So I'm going to throw every question I can at him, and we will take a pit stop if we find some depth, or y'all are just going to hear a giant icebreaker of an interview. And I'm excited to see what happens from that. Are you ready, Rob?
I am absolutely ready. I'm elated.
Okay, excellent. So, and these are gonna be, there is no sequence. We are just diving right in.
Okay.
So, let's start with a little bit of backdrop, kind of set the tone for what people can learn about you right off the bat. For the people meeting you for the first time, tell us, and again, you do not got to do a novel. Give me an elevator pitch. For people meeting you for the first time, tell us a little bit about yourself and specifically, how did fragrance become such a big part of your life? Why do you think that is?
Well, you say elevator pitch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm a leader in multiple facets of my life. I'm a leader in my church, I'm a leader at my job, I'm a leader amongst my peers. And so like that passion and that kindness that you were talking about kind of it transcends between all parts of my life because my duty is not to just me, but it's to people, and people are a big part of that. And so, how fragrance became a big part of it is because I, as a leader and as somebody that influences in real life, I found that I love fragrance, and so I would go to work and tell my friends about it. Hey, have you smelled this? Oh, Rob, you smell so good. I'm wearing this today. Oh, Rob, you smell great. What are you wearing? I'm telling people about that in real life, and it was somebody that kind of got to me and was like, "Hey, you should consider doing content." And I was like, I'm a little iffy about that. Like, I just like to smell good. I like to tell y'all about it. I like to share it, like what I'm wearing, what I have, and the things about that. But um, it wasn't something that I really considered about doing content with. But I think in me influencing in real life, it became something that was on social media. And so using my leadership, using my influence, and kind of bringing that to the social media space. But fragrance has just been something that I've really, really enjoyed for quite some time now, and just now putting that together with the other things about me that relate to people, and that's how we get here to actually creating this fragrance content.
Excellent. And I wanted to ask you because I heard something that you brought up that I wanted to press into. So, when I got into the fragrance space, you meet a ton of people, right? When you do content, it's just like everybody's talking about fragrance. All you can go on TikTok or YouTube right now and talk about fragrance all day if you want. Because as soon as
Yes.
somebody leaves, five more people show up. It's a revolving door. Um, so the conversations are plentiful once you get in the space. But prior to doing content, how much fragrance conversations were you having?
I actually wasn't having not too much, not nearly as much as I have now. I think when I first got into it, there were a few people in my life um that really that liked fragrance. And so they would get me fragrance as gifts. I would get them fragrance as gifts. I think on a like if we take one full day, I think out of the 24 hours before I got into content, maybe 10% of my day was consumed with fragrance content, and that might be a reach. It really wasn't a lot. It was just like those really, really few people that knew about it, and then maybe somebody would like, "Hey, you smell good. What are you wearing? Here's what I'm wearing." But it's nowhere near as much as I talk about it now.
Now, do you classify yourself as a type of collector, like niche only, designer only, any juice? Like, would you classify yourself as anything at this point in terms of what the majority of your collection represents?
I would I would classify myself as niche only. I and it's not to downplay people that do designer and or alternatives or dupes and stuff like that, because there was a time when I had a good number of them. But I think as I've gotten deeper into the fragrance space, I've come to appreciate what I have more. So I did sell off a whole bunch of the dupes that I had. And I like to classify this as this is where I'm at in my journey now. This is not something, it's not definitive. It's not something that is like that has a stigma with it, because there may be somebody that only collects dupes, and it's not to downplay them. But where I personally am at in my fragrance journey, based on what I've smelled, what I've come in contact with, where I've been, what I've had to experience, I would say that in my journey currently, I'm somebody that only has niche.
Now, speaking of which, Tell me, what was the first niche fragrance or the last niche fragrance you remember that you feel like it's like 4th of July fireworks in your brain? Wow, this is incredible. I want more of what this does.
I want to say off the top of my head, the first thing I can think of is Oman Luxuries Wanderlust. Now the whole line, because I have about four from Oman Luxury. I have Wanderlust, Paramore, I have Royal Incense, and I have Belfour. And Wanderlust was something because it was a niche fragrance, but it was really green, and the person that recommended it to me didn't even think I would like it, but I bought it complete blind buy, and I was like, I love this. I'm infatuated with this. I need more of this. This is amazing. Granted, that was a purchase from this year. That was like around January. When I finally got it in my hands and I smelled it, it was like, oh, this is amazing. And that really kind of like honestly, Wanderlust altered my brain chemistry a bit. It changed how I viewed greener fragrances. It changed how I felt about the houses. Like, I want to know more about the house. Like, that was something that really did like intrigue me so much.
Now, you said something important. The fragrance changed you. Is there anything that you recognize as you've gotten more bottles from the early stages to where you're at now? Is there anything that distinctly pops out in your brain as like, this is how I've changed the most today versus how I bought and looked for fragrances early on?
I think something that has, well, I would say this is like a point 0.5 point. Definitely price that my taste has gotten very expensive.
You got bougie, okay.
It has it's to a point now where I'm sad because everything I love now is so expensive. But on a more serious note, I think something that really changed was that when I look at a fragrance, I'm looking for something. I like fragrances that have depth, and it's not to say that everything doesn't have to take you on a whirlwind journey. Everything doesn't have to be like something that is, oh my gosh, it's a storytelling, artful fragrance. Not everything has to be that, but I've come to when I sniff fragrances, I'm looking for the journey. I'm looking for the top, middle, and base. I'm looking for where does this take me? What do I envision when I smell this? I think I look as fragrance more as art now. That's the biggest change. I look at fragrance as art, and that does help me pick fragrances now as well.
Yeah, I think something that people, this might be the first time somebody's hearing what I'm about to say, but everybody experiences this whether you're aware of it or not. Um with each bottle purchase comes the realization that depth is not simply a bunch of smells.
Yes.
Like, depth can come from a very linear smell that evokes a depth of thought. So it could be a presentation of a fragrance can evoke depth and richness. Maybe a small interest in a fragrance that leads to you researching a house could be depth. Depth could be a fragrance with a 2 hour transition. Um, Depth could be space and texture, not smells changing.
Yep.
Fragrance as atmosphere, fragrance as elemental. And so depth is all over the place in fragrance. And when you start to see depth showcased in a way that is unfamiliar to you, with each bottle purchase comes that opportunity to see that happen in real time. And so you could be somebody that chases depth, but's not buying all Roja fragrances because you're finding depth in a bunch of different ways. That's awesome. What was a fragrance that you had and it wasn't until recently that you started appreciating it way more?
A fragrance that I had that I didn't start appreciating. uh, Wow, didn't start appreciating more until recently.
Yeah,
I
like you
think
liked it, now you really love it and you're close to it.
fair, yes. I think one of them is definitely going to be, I want to say Roja's Midsummer Dream.
Mm.
I like, I know that you like that one. When
Yes,
I
I do.
So I keep a like a running note in my phone of when I go smell fragrances. So like literally my phone has one long note. I have a date, and if I go sniffing, I have a whole list. And my note for Midsummer Dream is that it's a really beautiful fragrance, but I don't think I appreciated green fragrances then like I do now. So I acknowledged its beauty and I added it to my list like this would be a nice to have. And then I purchased it this year, and now it's just like, no, I love Midsummer Dream. Like just the composition of it, the greenness of it, but it's so slightly sweet, but it's
That
so
right
cool and
there,
serious. Ugh.
that sweetness. See, when you smell a fragrance like Midsummer's Dream, it immediately puts you into like an elegant fougere category until you smell the transition and
Yes.
that whole fairy dust sweet and spice composition in the back is where it's totally unique, and it stops taking you to a smell and it starts putting you in a place. That fragrance
Yeah.
to me is Alice in Wonderland. Like you're
Yeah.
walking through a garden fortress and you're seeing all these fantasy characters walking around and bouncing around. It's just and not for nothing, like I thought when I bought that fragrance and wore that fragrance that it was just for me. Dude, surprisingly, I got like 4 compliments the first time I ever put that fragrance on. It was like, went to visit my mom, she smelt it on the baby. Wife said, "No, yeah, what is that? Wear that again." Then went to the barista, pick up the coffee, then went to work. "Oh wow, that's different." I was like surprised anyone would even gravitate towards it because it is a nose bomb. Like it really
Yeah.
is all over the place in a way that you feel might be more of a scent you would just do in the office when you're working or something. But
Right.
it definitely is attention grabbing. What type of attention you'll get, I don't know, because I really think the person makes a fragrance like that. But
Absolutely.
it's certainly at the very least a conversation starter. And I'm so mad because I bought half of that bottle. So one of my friends and I, every other bottle we give to each other, and then we take 50 from the bottle. And that
Good.
was a fragrance where I took 50 out of it and gave him the bottle. And then I was like, I want the bottle.
Yeah.
Like,
I
come on. Like, I can't be having Midsummer's Dream like in a Diptyque looking bottle I got on Temu. Like, that's just not gonna work,
Yeah.
especially not that particular fragrance. So I'm like, I'm already like, okay, I gotta go buy it again because I just need that bottle. And that fragrance, man, for Roja, like most people never recommend that fragrance as even in the top 15 for Roja because Roja just has so many
Right.
hitters.
Yeah.
That's a great
That's a good
fragrance to
point.
bring up.
Yeah, no, me and my friend, we do the same. We split bottles also. Um, and he was like, the only reason why I have the bottle is because he didn't like the art on the front. Because we both love the fragrance, but because he just hates the artwork on the front, I'm like, I'll take it. I love the fragrance, I love the bottle. Because I think Road bottles are really nice. But that's the only
Yes.
reason why I have it to this day is because he just doesn't like he doesn't like the 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 artwork on it.
Hey, well, God was looking out for you that day because I take
Absolutely.
that bottle any day of the week. And when I was decanting it, I was even like, I was going through it, man. I was like, why am I decanting this bottle? Like, do you think people can learn, like, when you see someone's collection, do you ever say to yourself, like, actually, let me just make it philosophical. Can you learn about people through seeing their fragrance collection?
I do think that it's possible. You may not get the full story, especially because, and you let me know your thoughts on this, but something I found last year that a lot of people did, myself included, is that for whatever reason, because TikTok started pushing it more, we just bought a lot more fragrances. And now in 2026, people are more about curation and decluttering more the things that they don't wear. And so I feel like you can learn something about a person through their collection for sure. Like how many fragrances they have of a certain profile, what is the price range that they're in, what is the variety of houses that they have. that can kind of speak to who they are as a person because it talks about their thoughtfulness. Some houses you can't find in a store. So depending on what kind of house a person has, shows that they did their research.
Right.
They ordered samples or they traded samples or they really went to dig deep to even acquire those because you can't find those in the store. Or some people prefer, to just have things that you can only find in the store. And so it may look like it, and then I'm not saying that this is anybody's thing, but it can look kind of flashy, like they want to show off, or like they want their collection to be noticeable to people. Like some things in my collection, I have things that people know about. There's things that people have never heard of a day in their life. And I'm okay with that because I like people to understand that when I do my research, two, I like to find things that people aren't talking about. And I like to be able to share these things with others. And so I do think that it's possible, not everything, but you can learn about people's research habits. You can learn about where their interest lies. You can learn where they are on their journey. If people, if, and this is not shade to anybody, but like I'm somebody that I had a lot of gourmands in my collection when I started building it at first, and now I get rid of a good number of them. If they're too sickeningly sweet or too syrupy, I tend to offload them, and that just shows you like I am in a different place than where I was maybe a year ago to kind of get rid of like something like Bianco Latte, which I loved, ran through the bottle, and towards the end of the bottle, I was like, you know what? Let me get rid of this because I don't even whisper like this anymore. So I think it is possible to really learn something about a person and where their joys are, where their experience has brought them through their collection. It is very much possible.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think uh it starts the conversation. Um and it there's so many there's so many things to learn about an individual that are outside of visual and
Yeah.
more through the sound that I feel at best it's a great conversation starter to see bottles and get a temperature of where to start a conversation. Um, One thing I will say is this: the other side of that fence is I'll give you two examples of why you can't stop there. Number one, I've ran into many situations where somebody will have what appears to be an elite collection behind them. But then when I hear them speak about the fragrances that they own, there's the depth of conversation doesn't match the depth of collection.
Yep.
So that's
Yep.
one scenario where you do need more, but it is a starter. The other thing I'll say that I've seen that has made me value not quantity always is I know some 15-year-olds that have less than 10 bottles, but when they speak, they have more depth of conversation than somebody with hundreds of bottles behind them because they've found their depth in the wearing experience and the battle testing of their fragrances. And that goes back to the thing that I was saying where you can find depth in different parts of the
Yep.
fragrance journey. It could be in the collection, it could be in the packaging, it could be in the community, it could be in the wearing, and you never know where somebody's depth lies. You have
Yes.
to uncover it. So yeah, I do think a collection can say a lot, but you do need more to clarify the things that you would think of by seeing the collection, by hearing them speak,
A thousand
because that always brings that clarity. I wanted to ask you: are compliments overrated?
percent. I don't think so at all. I think compliments can be affirming, compliments can be helpful, and not just it could be affirming in a couple of ways. It could be affirming in that like you're affirming that my choice is something that somebody else enjoys because some of us do hope to inspire and influence others to either get into fragrance or to kind of try different things. So when you compliment me, that means that something that I picked, you found impactful enough that you wanted to talk about it. So I do think it can be affirming, but also it could be affirming to somebody personally, like somebody maybe having a down day, a bad day, may not feel the best about themselves that day. And so to get a compliment on their fragrance could really lighten up their day and really make it for them. So it can be affirming in those aspects. I don't think that compliments are overrated by far. I think that how people use compliments as a means to speak about the value of the fragrance, I think that that's overrated because if the only way to describe it is this is a compliment getter, you're going to get all the compliments and people are going to track you down. It's like, well, actually, you might not get tracked down because everybody's not going to sit here and like run you down the street like, hey, what are you wearing? Everybody's not doing that. And two, there are so many more things to talk about the fragrance. Like it getting compliments is not the factor of success,
Right.
not to me. So people using that to kind of qualify the value of a fragrance, I think that that's overrated. But compliments themselves on fragrance is not overrated by far.
Yeah. I'll add to that and just say that you know in American society we are more often having trying to have our depth of conversation online than in person. We're a very implied society, meaning like sometimes when you hear somebody speak, more often they're implying something and not really being black and white with something. And
Yeah,
so I think anything that gives people the opportunity to start talking in person again is a good thing. And there's nothing more ice breaking than a compliment. Like if somebody walks
yeah,
up to you and gives you a compliment, there's immediately this sense of trust. There's a surrender of like, you don't feel like, because most time you meet a stranger, you have some guard up of some
yes,
sort because you don't know the safety of the situation, especially today. And so there's something about a compliment that just like puts a peace in the air that
yeah,
and a joy in the air that sets up the opportunity to like have meaningful connection after the fact.
yeah,
So it's almost like a key that unlocks a door that's closed for most people socially, that who are more reserved. A compliment can just like open a door, and now you'd be surprised how many people don't speak to strangers.
yeah,
They talk to who they talk to. It's all about familiarity, but a compliment allows strangers to meet and sets the tone for a joy and a peace to be had that comes from nobody. And sometimes that's more potent because you get a compliment from a complete stranger. It's a different energy than if your
yeah.
friend compliments you, because you almost feel like been there, done that. It's the grass is always greener on the other side too. So I think the compliment is it can't be overrated. And anyone who's ever received a compliment, that feeling you get of joy when you get a compliment, that it's just it's such a simple uplifting gesture. It never gets old.
To your point, so if y'all don't know, I'm from New York. It is a personality trait. Yes, I will absolutely be the obnoxious New Yorker. And so I spend a lot of my time like I live in Queens, but I work in Manhattan. And so when I'm going into the office, I'm in New York City, like the main part of it, so to speak, and I'm going through the city. So a lot of times I'm on the go. I'm a born and raised New Yorker. I've learned how to just be on the go. So to your point, a lot of times I don't speak when I'm outside. When I'm outside, I'm on a mission. I'm going to Starbucks or I'm going to the store. I'm going here. I'm going to my job. I'm going to my destination. And I really don't stop. And, just to, have conversation, I rarely do because I'm always on go mode. And there have been quite a few times that I've been stopped or been approached like, hey, you smell really good. And I do tend to walk around with RBF. And so when I get those compliments, like my face lights up. Oh my god, thank you so much. Because oh my god, I love fragrance. You like my fragrance? Like this is great, and
Yeah.
it does open it up for the conversation. And so, like, just as an example to what you just said, like I've personally experienced, I've lived it because I will absolutely go and not talk to anybody because I'm on a mission. I'm
Right.
going where I gotta go back to my office, back to my desk. I have things to do. New Yorkers always have things to do. But those few times when I'll get stopped, it's like by complete strangers. And then we may sit and have the conversation. We may just do it in passing, but it does open the door and it puts a big smile on my face. And if I share with them, it puts a smile on their face. It does make a difference. It does.
I think it's always an amazing thing when you can generate a positive energy from something very small. Like a lot of our most meaningful like joy and stuff comes from like having to build something, like build a long lasting relationship or build a nice career or have a long workout or just tons of things we do to get joy. But the fact that you can get this instant high just from saying something to somebody, I think
Yeah.
that's powerful. And I think we
Yes.
forget that there's power in that until you experience it and you're like, wow, that one thing. I know when I get a compliment, I feel good for the rest of the day.
Honestly, yeah.
Like I'll be thinking
Yeah.
about, I'll be playing it back in my mind. Oh, you smell good today.
Yes.
Like 8 hours later. Why? It's just powerful. I don't know. Like, maybe I can smell good again. I'm gonna smell good. I'm gonna smell this good tomorrow. Like
You know,
you just
you know,
we're so stupid like that, but it really is powerful, man. Um, Tell me a fragrance. Give me your sentimental fragrance. Whether you're wearing it or not, you'll always have it.
sentimental fragrance, whether I'm wearing it or not, I will always have it. I'm trying to go down the list of them. I think I'm gonna have to pull up one of the expensive ones. I would have to say it is going to be Royal Extract 3 from Guerlain. And that is a fragrance that's a Harrods exclusive that I picked up at Harrods itself.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been afforded the privilege to travel for work, and something that I've liked to start doing is when I travel, whether it's for work or personal, if I can get to a fragrance store, I like to commemorate my journey by buying something at that fragrance store. So
Yes.
when I've gone to Chicago, the House of Dubai, when I've gone to Harrods, and I've gone to Stell, and I've gone to Ariel Shoshana in Virginia, I like to commemorate it with a bottle. And I already knew that I really liked Guerlain's fragrances, but Royal Extract was something that kind of stood out to me because I was overstimulated in Harrods. I think I spent like an hour and a half on the first floor before I even got to the sixth floor, which is a perfume salon. So I
Right.
had already spent time smelling stuff, and then Harrods is huge. Harrods is like streets long. It is a very, very big store, even for me as a New Yorker. So I was overwhelmed, and I was overstimulated, and then I got into the Guerlain salon and I smelled Royal Extract. The girl, like, she kind of sat me down. She gave me a glass of water. She's like, "Hey, smell this." And I was like, "Oh, I love this. I love this." Uh, Like, yeah, give me like right now. I need this. Like, please, miss, please. I'm not leaving here without this. One of my most expensive bottles to date, I will absolutely say, one of my most expensive, but it was just the experience. Granted, I don't wear it that often. It's a 125 ml bottle. I do not wear it that often. I think I decanted 30 ml of it into the little bee that they give you. I haven't refilled that little bee since I got it back in November. Um, so I really don't wear it often, but it's just something that it's nice, it's easygoing, it's nice white florals, which is something I really like. It's soft, it's sweet, and it's just something that when I look at it, like it makes me happy. It makes me happy. Again, I don't wear it often. I probably should. I want to wear it some more. But for me, it just means so many things. It's a symbol of my journeys, my travel. It's a symbol of status to me, also low key because I love the House of Guerlain. To be able to acquire Guerlain was a privilege to me. Like it just means so much to me, and I really, really, really like it.
Let me tell you something that is so underrated. If I told you that fragrances are memories, you wouldn't debate it. You wouldn't debate me on it. But here's what people forget about that. Fragrance is so powerful that if you have a memory that you want to preserve and you don't have a camera, if you
Yes,
spray or buy a fragrance in that moment, you will have that memory. Like, and not just visually, you will be able to go back to that place, smell the air, and have a full sensory bomb of recollection through a
Yes.
fragrance.
Yep.
When you realize that, now you understand how sometimes you will buy a fragrance to capture time in a bottle.
Yes.
And just picking up the fragrance and smelling it is like wearing VR glasses. You
Yep.
just
Just
go to
like
this
that.
place and it's like hallucinating for a couple of minutes. You know, you just can go back to that place, and there's something comforting about how real that feels when you smell the scent and connect to the place. I think that's super underestimated and undervalued. Like, you naturally do this and you have sentimental fragrances, but to be able to like go sit in a chair and like escape reality for a while by going back to a very positive moment in time that you had real joy. There's something very powerful about that with
Yeah.
scent. And then you can take it a step further. You can put the scent on and take it with you. You could be
Yes.
at work but mentally be in Maui. You
Yes.
know, you can go on a vacation but mentally be home. You can be in high stress but mentally be at peace.
Yep.
That's crazy to me. And that's the
Yeah.
moment, that's what your moment was. Your moment was a lot of meaning captured in a moment, bottled by a scent. And you can go
Yes.
back to that whenever you want. That's amazing.
Yeah. I think there are quite a few fragrances, like I mentioned earlier. I like to commemorate my journeys with fragrances. So by default, those things are scent memories because, like, no, I went to this store in Chicago, I got this fragrance. I went to this store in Florida, I got this fragrance. I went to this store, I got this fragrance. So by default, those are memories. But something that to even be careful of is the fact that they have memories. There's fragrances that I've had to declutter because I smelled it and it's like it reminds me of something. I was like, I don't know if I want to remember this. So that's something I've had to learn to be careful of as well. That some things remind me of really joyful places, really, really like beautiful experiences. And then there have been some fragrances that I have solely gotten rid of off of the strength that this smells like something that I don't want to remember. And now being careful of my peace and being careful of like where I am in a mental space, I need to offload this because I want to protect the joy that I have with the memories
Mhm.
that I have with these fragrances.
I'm going to tell you something I've never told anybody on this channel or in my, probably not in my life, except for my wife knows this. We're talking about what scent can do. Let me tell you how humans behave sometimes. There was a time when my grandfather passed, and I didn't have anything to remember him by except for what was in his truck. And there were two things I had in his truck that I kept. And you'll be amazed by this. One of them was a moon. It was a wooden sculpture of a moon crest with a kid sitting on the balcony of the moon. Like, he lived on the moon
Oh
and there was
yeah,
a balcony and he
yeah,
was sitting dangling his feet. And that was a great thing to have. The only other thing that I could find in the truck was a 6-pack of O'Doul's beer. Now, when I tell you I kept it for years, a 6-pack of beer in my closet,
yeah,
because he only drank non-alcoholic beer, O'Doul's.
yeah,
And that was like an insignia. Like, when I see an O'Doul's bottle, no one in my life ever drank O'Doul's. I see the bottle and I think of my grandpa. And not only do I think of my grandpa, it takes me to his trailer when I used to sit in there and talk to him. And he would, pop some skull in his lip, grab an O'Doul's, and maybe cook a meal. Just the object had a lot of depth. It was a trigger. I don't know if it
yeah,
was positive or negative, but it brought my grandpa in my life. It's really profound. It took a long time for me to get rid of a 6-pack of beer,
yeah,
but if that can do that, man, scent can do some incredible stuff. And you never
Absolutely.
know how you cope and 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 heal or
Yes.
preserve things in your life, with objects and things like that. So there's something very powerful to that. That immediately made me think of that. Now, well, I'm gonna ask you one more question, and then we're gonna play some games. Okay. And this is getting deep, and I like it. I think there's a lot of gems already getting scattered on the ground. What's a fragrance everyone needs to smell before they die?
Ah, a fragrance everyone needs to smell before they die. One of my most recent acquisitions, which is Sheeper Palatin by MDCI Parfums.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's funny that you say that because that fragrance gives me the same feeling of your story. Sheeper Palatin is a very smooth, deep, interesting Sheeper fragrance. And so, Sheepers have like the citrus on top. It has like the rosy kind of heart or softer heart, floral heart. And then you have like oak moss and labdanum and
Mm-hmm.
woody notes in the base. And when I think about that fragrance, honestly, it brings me to a place of maturity. It reminds me of even my grandfather, even though I know I didn't smell that on him per se. It reminds me of my grandfather, something that he would wear. And I think that that's something that everyone should smell before they die, just because of the sentimental value that it can bring.
Mm-hmm.
Like those of us that had relationships with our grandparents, our parents, something like that can either just make you excited because it just smells so amazing. Like literally, I got a decant of it from a friend, and I think I scoured the internet for like 2 hours immediately. Like she sent me a pack of 10 fragrances. That was like number four that I smelled. I stopped everything I was doing. Please help me find this fragrance. I need it right now. Like, please, I need like that's how strongly I had to find it because it smelled so good. But then as I sat with it, it without it, it does not smell like my grandfather, but it smells like nostalgia.
Dude,
And that was something I was
that's amazing because you brought up another point. A scent can take you somewhere it has never been.
yes. Yes.
That's
Yes.
crazy. Like, yo,
Yes.
this scent has no connection, but for some reason when I smell it, it takes me to Central Park. Or, you know what I mean, just
Yeah.
whatever. Or it takes me to my grandparents' house because the smell of it is the closest thing that I remember to it.
Yes.
Or the vibe that it evokes, the feeling that it makes me feel is a feeling that I only had in that place. And so it connected me. It was the bridge to go somewhere else. Bro,
Yeah.
fragrances are time portals, man.
They are. They really are. They absolutely are. And I think that I would just encourage everybody to smell that. You don't have to buy it, but just smell it and experience it because that is literally a time capsule in a bottle. Especially because a lot of ours, those of us, us millennials and beyond, um, our grandparents and our parents wore stuff like that. They wore the Chypras, they wore the
Mm-hmm.
Fougères. And even if they have not smelled it before, it is truly a time capsule. And even for those that are younger, that's something just worth experiencing. And really, really, you may not even appreciate it. It's at least not right now, but it's worth experiencing.
Yeah. And I tell people this all the time. Sometimes a bad fragrance takes you to an amazing fragrance. Like,
Yes.
like and again, it's all subjective, but sometimes an experience that is just like, whoa, I never smelled anything like that. I wouldn't buy it. It
Yeah.
puts your mind in a place that builds a bridge to something else that you might not have never enjoyed had you not had that icebreaker to get you there. So it's like not all fragrances you don't purchase are experienced in vain. They are opening up your palate. Some
Yes.
fragrances you try not to buy a fragrance, but to open your mind.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
well, hey, you're getting deep here, man. You're getting deep. Can't believe it. Hey, let's snack size Rob for half a second. Okay?
Okay.
We're gonna now on the back half of this show, because we're already 45 minutes in, I wanna just rapid fire questions at you.
Okay.
and we'll see where we go. And the topic's going to change constantly. So the first one is very simple. It's called This or That.
Got it.
Quality or versatility?
Quality.
Projection or longevity?
Projection.
Vintage or modern?
Vintage.
Designer, niche, or indie?
Indie.
Okay. Freshie or gourmand?
Freshie.
Okay. Now I want fragrance names. And you could take time to
Okay.
think about this, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to give you what I call 2-word prompts, and you
Okay.
give me a fragrance.
Okay. Cool.
Quiet luxury.
Cedar Chic by Carolina Herrera.
You know, Jess was just talking about that fragrance.
Oh, I love it so much. Love it. Oh, I love it.
And she might have even said, I love me some Rob before she said it.
Honestly.
Okay. Sunday morning.
Sunday Morning Royal Incense by Oman Luxury.
That's a great fragrance. First impression.
First Impression Reflection Man by Amouage.
Hidden powers.
Hidden Powers. Ooh, Atomic Rose by Initio.
Ooh. You know, a friend of mine describes that fragrance as a graffiti rose.
Yes. 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 Yes.
I thought that was such a cool description because I was
Yes.
calling it like a futuristic rose, but graffiti makes so much more sense. It's an animated, like, excitement rose that is still enough to be a rose, but is the coolest rose you smell, right?
Yes.
It's the cool rose.
Yes.
Pure joy.
Lift Me Up by Initio.
Okay. Rugged gentleman.
Rugged Gentleman. Ombre Papier by Atelier Materi.
I've just been getting into that house. They make some great juice. Winter cabin.
Winter Cabin. Outlands by Amouage.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Fresh start.
Fresh Start. Fresh Start, Fresh Start, Fresh Start, Fresh Start. Lavalier by YSL.
Timeless elegance.
Timeless Elegance. Angelique Noir from Guerlain.
That's a great. That fragrance is freaking good. Desert sunset.
Desert Sunset. Not sunrise, but sunset. That's very specific. Desert Sunset. I would have to say, ooh. Desert Sunset. I am leaning towards, funny enough, Lazy Sunday Morning from Maison Margiela.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see that totally. Okay, let's jump out of 2-word and we're going back to this or that.
Okay.
Niche or designer?
Niche.
Blind buy or sample first?
Sample first.
Beast mode or glorified skin scent?
Glorified Skin Scent.
Fresh or dark?
Dark.
Summer or winter?
Winter.
Okay. Citrus or woods?
Woods.
Vanilla or tobacco?
Tobacco.
Leather or suede?
Leather.
Iris or vetiver?
Iris.
You get to continue. Rose or oud?
Rose.
Incense or smoke?
Incense.
Okay. Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Fig or coconut?
Fig.
Amber or musk?
Oh, that's a hard one. Wait. Oh, that's a hard one. I think right now I have to say musk. I have to say
Okay.
musk right now.
Okay. Lavender or mint?
Lavender.
Yeah. That's absolutely. Okay. Let's go into collector edition.
Okay.
10 perfect bottles or 300 good bottles?
10 perfect or 300 good. I'll take the 300 good.
Okay. Full bottle or decant? I already know what you're finna say.
Full bottle.
He looked over at his decant collection. He saw like 3 specks of dust. And discontinued gems or new releases?
Discontinued. Discontinued. Please.
Okay. Wear a lot or collect rare?
Wear a lot or collect rare.
Yeah, so fragrances that you can just wear for anything or rare fragrances.
Oh, rare.
Okay. Display your collection or store it away?
Right now, store it away.
Okay. 1 expensive bottle or 5 affordable?
One expensive.
Vintage formulations or modern reformulations?
Vintage formulations.
Safe reach or challenging wear?
Challenging wear.
Artistic masterpiece or crowd pleaser?
Artistic masterpiece.
Okay, now we're going to go into the community edition.
Okay.
Compliments or personal enjoyment?
Compliments.
House loyalty or bottle loyalty?
Ooh, house loyalty.
Okay. Notes or overall composition?
Composition.
There you go. Um, Performance or scent quality?
Scent quality. Hands down.
Okay. Now, let's see. Okay, last battle. We're gonna do house battle.
Okay. Ooh, this.
Yes, sir.
Ooh.
Yes, sir. Niche edition.
All right. I'm interested to see where this goes.
We got 20 for you, Rob, and then we're gonna close
Okay.
out. Okay. Amouage or Roja?
I'm wash.
Oh, you finna get lit up in them comments. You can't
I
you
love
you can't win this
Frankincense.
game, Rob. I'm just telling you. Zhirjov or MFK?
MFK.
Nishane or Memo Paris?
Memo.
Ooh. I'm balling my
My
fist
God,
right now,
home
Rob.
run.
My fist is hurting. Now, Parfums de Marley or Creed?
Parfums de Marley.
This is an interesting one. Etat libre d'orange or imaginary authors?
Ooh, I'm gonna go with Italie d'Orange.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Um,
Yeah,
BDK or Initio?
Initio.
Penhaligon's or Ormond Jane?
Ormond Jane.
That's the right answer. There was only one answer there, guys. I don't care what y'all be saying. I don't care how many animal heads and how many bows and ribbons y'all got around them bottles. There was only one answer to that question. Mancera or Montal?
Mancera. Just for the
Okay.
bottles, honestly. I hate bottles.
Yeah, the Montal bottles are so bad.
They stress
And
me
this
out.
and the crazy part is that's a father-daughter business.
Yes, yes,
Where
yes.
if you just looked at the bottles, you can tell why they split. They
Yeah,
wasn't good. After looking at them bottles, you could tell they wasn't about to agree on nothing. Like, my goodness. That daughter was like, Dad, you take this salt and pepper bottle and get the heck out of here. Okay.
honestly.
Frederick Mall or Le Labo?
Frederick Mall,
Diptyque or Byredo?
Byredo.
Nasamato or Order Parisi?
Ooh, Nazamato.
Okay. So they're kind of the same house, but different hands. Like, I
Yeah.
associate sometimes I be calling Nasamato Order Parisi. Like it's because they all got that little 30 mil thing, little artistic
Yeah.
spin, dense fragrances. Ex Nihilo or Wilhelm?
Ex Nihilo.
Yeah, that was easy. Tiziana Terenzi or Suspiro?
Ooh, I'm gonna go. They might fight me. I'm gonna go with Tiziana Terenzi.
Okay, okay. Clive Christian or Roja?
Roja.
Missons, I don't know how to pronounce it. Misenser,
Here.
Misensier or Mason Crivelli?
Uh, Maison Crivelli, or if you want to do the Maison Crivelli.
You got to hold your pinky up. Um, Mind Games or Argos?
Oh, that's. I'm sorry, y'all, but this is tough. I don't like either one of those houses.
Me
If
either.
I had to choose, Mind Games.
I'm gonna give you two other ones that are in that realm: Electimus or Fragrance Dubois.
Fragrance Dubois.
Okay, Harmonist or Amouage?
I'm washed.
Um, Goldfield and Banks or City Rhythms?
Goldfield and Banks.
Okay, Les Amenadables, however the heck you say that, or
All right.
Papillon Artisan Perfumes.
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm gonna go with Les Inimitables.
Yeah, I think you wouldn't be able to walk home if you didn't say that house for our niche heads. Mask
I love
Milan.
Papillon though.
Let's actually let's do Liquid Imaginaries or Mask Milano.
Mm, I'm gonna go with Liquid Imaginaire.
Okay, and I'm gonna just throw this in for extra credit. Guerlain or Chanel?
Ah, girl on.
Does any house beat Guerlain in your mind?
No, no. Guerlain is one of, granted, I have a lot of Amouage. Guerlain is one of the only houses in my mind that I just want everything from
Yep.
every collection. There's just everything just smells good to me. I think minus maybe like two or three. Everything just smells good to me. I
Yeah.
really want the whole thing. I think I have
That
like maybe
that
like
house can
12,
do no wrong to me.
none
It's
whatsoever.
like if I don't like it, it's just because it wasn't made for me. I'll give it to somebody else in my
Yes,
family.
exactly, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, Rob, I really, again, a lot of the reason why I kind of did the Wildcat offense here is because I just wanted people to get a whiff of your world of fragrance, a little bit of learn about you, a little bit of your interest, and also just to throw a bunch of fragrance names and houses in the air, and then even just a little bit of philosophy. I think your type of journey is so multifaceted that
Yeah,
I just wanted people to experience any little bit of it we could. So I feel like jumping around and ice breaking a lot of conversation really kind of tease us up so that when we have meaningful discussions in the future, they have a little context behind who you are as a person and where you've
yeah,
gone. So I do think we did a crazy good episode, and this is gonna be a watch back gang is gonna be in the comments running this back a few times. This definitely won't be your last. I always ask people this at the very end before we close out. Do you have any questions for me?
any questions? I guess the only question I have right now for you, because I know that your collection is rather eclectic as is mine, what's your favorite house right now?
Oh. You know, it's tough because there's two things. There's maybe an answer will come up, but I don't even think I have an answer at like literally right now. And the only reason I say that is because right now in my journey, one of my biggest goals is to curate a top 100 greatest fragrances of all time. Behind
Okay.
that, I'm building a fragrance library that is scents that I think showcase the landscape of perfumery. So that's more of a historical type of collection.
Yeah.
And but that's not my primary goal right now because as a reviewer, I prioritize the journey over that which is the destination. That stuff I initially mentioned, I think is like destination type of goals. But
Yeah.
because I review, I prioritize not my pursuit of the next bottle I'm going to buy, but the next house I'm going to uh investigate. And so that is always kind of in the background as a secondary goal of like if things are blowing me away while I'm trying houses, then I'm picking up the bottles and adding to that collection and decluttering pieces. And I do get a lot of fragrances from companies or my subscribers that I then have to go in and declutter and rearrange where it fits in the collection.
Yeah.
So honestly, like I'm around so many houses all the time. The last house I was really able to focus on was Guerlain and Nishane,
Yes.
and La Leak. So La Leak, I'm almost completed my entire set from that house. And I've just been collecting a lot of rare vintage from that house. So I would say La Leak is the only house I've intentionally got to catch 'em all pursued, um, like in its entirety. Then close second would probably be Guerlain, and then Nishane. Um, but outside of that, very generally, there's so many houses that have such a stacked roster.
Yes.
Um, if we're talking houses that have less than 20 bottles, I could like name houses that I really enjoy, but some of the bigger houses when you start messing with Serjoff, Roja, and then the indie, the roster is so big of fragrances that even
Yeah.
if I've smelled like 30, I'm not even halfway through the line. One fragrance I just recently picked up was the Apollonia. And the Apollonia I have been on a manhunt for like a year and a half. And you
Yeah.
can go and buy this, but I wasn't going to. I almost felt like somebody owed me this fragrance. I wanted it in 100 mil, but they discontinued it, and I was kind of waiting so long to see if somebody had 100 mil that was a mistake buy for them. But I had to just pull. I hate 50 mil Zherzhov bottles. I just they are so gas station looking. But I love the House of Serjoff, so I eventually pulled the trigger on this. I'm a big fan of minimalism with fragrances
Yeah.
and the use of things like musk and iris and amber
Yes.
and just ethereal atmospheric scents. And this was one of my favorites. And it's such a simple scent. Like I could see how a lot of people would pass by this. Like this is not special. But to me, the whole concept of walking around the moon, smelling the atmosphere of space, slight metallic, orris powder, um,
Yeah.
just like it's like the best smell of nothingness. Um, is
Yeah.
it, and yeah, and like what people like sleep on is they never take a fragrance like this and manipulate it. Scents like these are some of the coolest fragrances to layer, to put oils next to it, to trick out. They're phenomenal for that reason, and that's when it gets exciting is when you start comboing and layering along these
Yeah.
type of scents. Because since you're starting from such an open palette, you can really do some banana stuff with them
Yes.
and really create like signature scents. I'm a big fan of stuff like this, the Narcisa Rodriguez pure musks,
Yes.
anything with orris, anything with experimenting with musks. Love it. So that was like a grail find for me that I've been like intentionally putting off for a long time. But I've been trying to be more present daily with my fragrance journey. Like I have all these goals out here, but if I just like focus on my day and wearing my fragrance and enjoying the process and just seeing who I stumble into or what I might want to look into for the day, I find that my journey like changes up and is a lot more dynamic and fun. And that normally makes me do some kind of big long distance adjustment to
Yeah.
where I'm trying to go. I've really been enjoying the people in community and like the sharing of perspective.
Yes.
Because I go back into my collection with so much more fun, and I'm just like, oh dang, I didn't even, or I knew that, but I forgot about it. So yeah, as far as houses, man, I love evaluating a house. One thing I will say is I have been more intentional about not going through a house unless I can go through all of it.
Okay.
So that's one thing where it's like, right now reviewing houses, I'm doing their whole line. I
Got
used to
it.
review, top 10 flagship runners for a brand, but I really want to, like, most of my top fives are not in people's top 10s from a house.
Either.
So in my mind, I'm like, if anyone's like me or respects my nose, I got to just go through everything in the set and
Yep.
say what it is. And also for my own collecting sake, because I'm going to probably stumble into something nobody's talking about.
Yep.
How many people talk about Apollonia?
I I haven't heard it.
The brand don't even talk about Apollonia as much as me. Um, but yeah, so that's one thing about houses I have been doing is like if I'm gonna, like, for instance, we just went through mind games. I was like, I gotta just do them all. I'm not really into that house, so sometimes it's painful to go through a whole house that you really ain't into. But that
Yes.
also is exciting if they surprise you. You know,
Yeah.
like dang,
Yeah.
99% of this house is trash, but this one fragrance they did, I, I had to go through 99 to get to the one, you know?
Oh my God. I'm so glad I'm not alone. I've been feeling so bad. Like, I don't like mind games. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I be learning about the houses too. So when I look at the house story, the price they choose, where they're going into the market, how they're marketing themselves, and then I smell the juice and see what's going on, I'd be like, okay, I can smell real quick whether it's either cash grab or it's like fake artistic, or if it's just, here's the problem. There's a lot of talent in the fragrance world.
Yeah.
It's just being rushed. Releases have great concepts,
Yes.
but they just get rushed.
Yes.
They
A
could have
thousand.
amazing presentation. The bottle looks pristine. The juice energy is not matching and the juice gets rushed. Or phenomenal juice, the packaging and marketing is rushed. Something's getting rushed, and
Yeah.
and that's why I think that's where the heritage brands like Guerlain stand out. They've been working on presentation, formulation, and marketing for so long.
So
You're
long.
not really going to see the ball drop too often. Even stuff you don't like, you highly respect. There's a difference in that between
Yes.
smelling a certain Mind Games fragrance that's perfection, and then you go through five that feel rushed. That's a different type of energy. And when a brand starts doing that to you, you think about it like this. Today, brands are on a thin rope with us. Like if you go into a new house and you smell like three bad fragrances off the bat, it's gonna be like pulling teeth. Even if they tell you, man, we got 40 fragrances, you're gonna be sitting there like, I'm gonna go back to Xerjoff. I'm gonna go back to Guerlain. We don't
Yeah.
have our attention span is low. Like brands better start swinging with their best foot because ain't nobody, I'm a reviewer, so you lucky I'm gonna just go through the house off the love. But the average buyer is gonna smell a couple of juices, and if you put a bad taste in their mouth off rip, they ain't ever gonna get to your masterpiece
Exact-
because you ain't coming
exact-
correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
brands got to really get it together. The rush is due to the fact that so many fragrances are coming out, but I think brands just need to do a better job of advocation. Like
Yes.
sell me your fragrance, man. Don't sell me like 20 fragrances. Take this one bottle and talk me to death about this.
Yes.
Tell me
Yes.
the history in you know, you don't just have to get into notes and all that, but just get make me feel like I'm smelling it through the screen. Tell me how long you worked on this. Put the facts out there. But I think a lot of brands can't do that because if they had to tell the truth, it'd be like, I worked on this for 7 nights out of the year and then we had to go to production. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, or I was working on 100 formulations and I finally thought this one smelled decent enough to drop and, we had to go. So I don't know, man. People need to just slow down and be confident in what they do. But then when they make something great, rather than competing by making multiple releases, just get great articulate people to
Yes.
articulate story
Yes.
and concept and marketing and all that because realness is hard to find. There's a lot of
Yeah.
people that will buy your fragrance just because it feels more trustworthy and authentic, even over a juice that might smell better because they want to support the pursuit of like integrity and creativity more than just brands that make 100 cents so they got 5 masterpieces by default but are probably going to give you a lot of dog water in the future. I really think that.
Yeah. I've definitely tried to, of course, it happens, but if a house has too many fragrances, I'm already turned off, to be honest. So I definitely try to. I love when houses have a smaller offering because you could tell that they took their time to kind of curate what they're putting out and presenting, um, and they're really careful about it. So houses that have like 20, 30, I mean, we're talking about this. Have you seen Fuegia with 200 in the line? I'm over. I haven't even been to the store, and it's in New York, and I'm overwhelmed already.
Right.
I want to go do that.
I think it would be really helpful for people to see a timeline of like when brands hit the scene so you can get a sense of how long they've been in the game versus what their roster looks like. Because if you
Yeah,
tell me Guerlain's been around for 100 years and has 300 fragrances, but I'm looking at a brand that came out in 1990 and has the same amount, that
yeah,
changes my perception. But it gives me information
yeah,
that says, okay, somebody might be rushing the gun, or at least give me something that can help me navigate um, heritage or just gives me more information about the type of energy and quality a brand's approach is, just by seeing how long they've been established as a brand and how many fragrances they're cranking out and how
yep,
many people are talking about them. That kind of, I think, will be, and that's the other part about it too, is to be niche, you just have to only do fragrances on a technical definition. So there's a lot of people coming out with fragrance brands every single day. And it's like, oh, this
yep,
is a niche brand. But you're not the same niche as everybody,
right,
but you just get the pass. So now the everyday guy off the street who knows what niche means, he might think, Joey out of Houston, Texas, who just started a fragrance brand out the kitchen, is the same as a Guerlain.
right,
No, it is not. And
right.
you need to at least know that so you don't get pissed off right away in this niche space about how grand the spectrum is of quality and history and artistry, because it's all just getting jammed under the niche umbrella. And there needs to be some sort of spectrum of niche separation. Yes, the scents are subjective, but I think just knowing how long a brand has been out versus their product line and then the community voice about them can put together in your mind like where to begin. Like what
Yes,
houses there should be a top-down hierarchy of like start here. And there's kind
yeah,
of not unless you know what you're doing.
yeah. And then that's when it becomes. Thank goodness for content creators and influencers because the people that are doing content like that, or maybe it hasn't been done yet. I'm sure somebody started it someplace, but that's where people like us come into play because the house isn't going to do that. And I wish that they would, or that like you said, invest into people that can properly articulate those things. But this is where content creators are necessary because where the brand falls short in their marketing and introduction of their fragrances, the content creator will have this creative idea to kind of give the consumer, well, if you're going to explore this house, you should start here. Consider this. This is for this person. This is for this person. If you like this, try this. I think that's where we come in as a big part of this ecosystem, even if the brands don't always recognize it.
They won't.
But that's where we're important.
Yeah, they're not going to recognize it until the people exalt it.
Yeah,
Because right now all the marketing dollars go to people that sell bottles, and the people that are selling bottles have the video where they're talking about the notes or the panties that'll drop.
yeah,
That, so
yeah,
their perception of influencers is like, find the person who has the highest sales and throw money at them. That guy is not going to invest in your brand. He's going to invest in your bottle.
yep,
So it's going to take a lot of against the grain influencers to build their leverage, not through brands and sales, but through the people and the trust. So
yeah,
so I'll end with this. I have a smaller following. On YT we're at like 5200. But out of the 5200 people, I could tell you at least 3000 addresses. I can do high volume because my word is trustworthy. And so a
yeah,
lot of people have 100,000 followers, but only can sell 1,000 bottles. And that tells you the level of depth and trust factor of the audience, that their audience mostly falls them for entertainment and information, not necessarily because they trust their nose. You
right.
know, so I always tell people, like, going against the grain, you might build the follower more brick by brick, but each follower is worth infinitely more than somebody else's 5,000 follower growth every month, because you're building real connections, real trust, and people are actually going to invest back into you. One of the things I'm so proud of is that I don't do PR. Every brand's fragrances that I review on this channel, the community pays for. And I'm not talking like monetization, then I go buy it. No, they'll buy it and send me the discovery set. And then I'll review it and donate it back to the community of people who haven't smelled it. So we recycle amongst each other and we build all
Yeah,
the leverage. And because of that, I'm free to freely review and be honest. And so if a brand approaches me, it's a different type of deal, because they can't approach me with a free bottle or a flight. They have to actually give me a check for me and my appearance. And if I
yeah,
go into that capacity, I'm going to do brand work, not
yes.
necessarily new release work. I really
Yeah.
think brands would sell more bottles if they could actually sell more than bottles. They I should be
Yes.
able to go type Guerlain. When I go in and type La Leak on YouTube, I will see a vintage video about the building they bought, the glass, the manufacturing, the history. I'll get videos about reviewers. I'll get, philosophers. I'll get museums. I'll get movies that show up, and all of that plays into the aura and prestige of that brand and gets you excited. Brands need to just tap into 1/10 of that energy and say, where
Yep.
did you start? Who were you before the fragrances? Because it's about frequency of content, but it's also about understanding that people buy people, not fragrances.
Yes.
And we're marketed to now to buy fragrances, not people. And because of it, there's only a certain level of depth that can be achieved.
Yeah.
And it's also a tall order on the fragrance, because the fragrance has to actually just be insane to really blow you away. And that's something that doesn't just happen. I genuinely believe the more you know about a brand, the more the fragrance smells better.
Interesting.
It's like this, Rob. I'm married to Keisha, right? You don't like Keisha, but I'm like, hey, you don't know Keisha like I know Keisha.
Fair. Okay, I see.
You
I
see what I'm
get you.
saying? So it's like
I get
like I
you.
really
Yeah.
know her like that. So
Yeah.
like when I'm sitting there with my bottle of Apollonia, okay, you don't like Apollonia. You don't know her like I know her.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what I think adds to the smell. Like man, you would be like, man, my mama's mac and cheese is the best. right? Oh, no, it ain't, Rob. No, listen, you don't know, man. I got 8 years with that mac and cheese. I know how it's made. I know how it's stacked. My mom puts my favorite album on when she make it. She hums and sings when she puts it together. I gotta bang the TV. I remember watching the TV and waiting for the mac and cheese. You see, all that dialogue in depth actually improves the scent profile because, again, depth is attached to it.
Yeah.
That is beyond scent. And that's what I think brands got to tap into, is that when you can sell the brand, the identity of the brand and the passion and the art with the fragrance, it in a weird way improves the smell of the actual fragrance because, you know, it's almost like hanging out with an awesome person and then they give you a painting. You stop evaluating the brush strokes and all that because it's
Yes.
who gave it to you.
Yes.
You know, so I think
Yes.
people need to tap into that a little bit. Like, there's things that affect the fragrance experience that will make you delusionally fall in love, whether it's good or not, because it's
Ooh,
perception.
yes.
All right. Hey, Rob, I really appreciate you. This won't be your last time. Can you tell the people where they can find you online?
You can find me on TikTok and YouTube at Rob Faith and Fragrance.
Okay. And so y'all know out there who watch my channel, I'm going to put all Rob's contact in the description below. Give me something to talk about. Something from this episode had to stick out to you guys. I know we were all over the place. We just threw a grenade out there. Whatever landed on you, give us some feedback. Me and Rob will be in the comment section. We'd love to get a conversation going. Even like where you want us to go next. Was there anything Rob spoke about that you'd like to know more about? I'll take all of that feedback into the next hangout. I even want to get Rob in on a panel discussion. I want people to start meeting each other and kind of
Yeah.
curate good people around good people. So, with that being said, Rob, I appreciate you. I learned a lot today. I appreciate your perspective, your journey. I love all the different ways you articulate, even the house dives. You try to put people onto houses. You know about a lot of fragrances people don't know about. And just as a person, the person you are is the same energy that comes behind the passion you put into the fragrances, and that's always a plus because that's hard to find. So, is there any last minute words you got for the people before we sign out?
Just last words. First of all, thank you for this opportunity. This is such a privilege. And I think I appreciate this the most because it is, even though I am a content creator, I'm an intellectual first. And so to be able to find somebody that can intellectually and intelligently articulate fragrance, perfumery is such a privilege. So I'm really grateful for you and your knowledge and your ability to just articulate fragrance, perfumery, houses, history, like just all of it. It's really it's a breath of fresh air. In a world where people just say, "Oh, this fragrance is heat. You need this. It's a paint dropper." I appreciate the people that can accurately articulate the depth and the breadth and the width of fragrance in the house and perfumery in its entirety. So thank you for that. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Hey guys, listen, you're rocking with me in the scent bubble. We're so glad to have you guys with us. Make sure you tune in. I'm going to throw a video on the left and right hand side of the screen of previous episodes. Make sure y'all check that out because we got to go, but y'all can feel free to stick around and binge watch. Rob, I appreciate you. This is Robin SB signing out. Y'all have a blessed week. Peace.
That's one.